giving it all I've got. Everything I got, that's a lie. This feeling I got ain't gon' stop. We up with it straight to the top.
Finally figured out why it's so hard for a lot of people to truly just stay free-minded, carry on with what they ultimately feel is right, whatever you want to call it. But I finally figured out like the suppression of consciousness. And maybe not that I necessarily figured it out, because I've kind of known these things. You kind of understand this as you get older and learn and stuff like that. But I guess it just became more of like a cemented thing of like, they do everything and anything to make sure that you're kind of locked in. And by they, I mean the construct, whoever created the construct of the way the world is right now. They made it that even if, you know, whatever you want to call it again, conscious or free-spirited, free-minded, free thinker, they have so much hurdles and whatnot to be that way, which is why most people just succumb to the pressure and say, forget about it, I'm gonna just be like everybody else, I'm gonna just conform, because they see all these hurdles, all these obstacles, and it's like the moment you even start having the conversations or the dialogue or the thoughts or the moments that you need to have to kind of get that clarity and continue on and spreading good and stuff like that, attacked on all sides. And there's like different challenges. Like me being a Puerto Rican, and I say Puerto Rican, I like to clarify, for me, I look at it as an extra label that divides us. At the end of the day, we're all the human race, right? What are the races out there, mate? No, but we're all, you know, we're all supposed to be together. But as a Puerto Rican and being around different family members, being around different environments, being around different friends, different people, I see that there's like different, even depending on who you are, your age, your sex, your gender, depending on how you look at it, right? Boom. A lot of the challenge that they try to put on black people and strong black people is to push you to now you're weaker. Constant forcing of you're less than, so to speak, rhetoric is a target against black people to just oppression, you know? So that's one of the main obstacles that they target. So let's just say you've been on some BS, you've been living the little fragments of the life of, you know, the toxic rap songs. This could go for men or female. And it don't even got to be rap songs. It could be just toxic music, toxic things that you may be doing, whatever the case may be. Whoever you are, when you wake up from the nonsense of the world of chasing after stuff that doesn't matter, the artificial, the, you know what I'm saying, the I need to have the right fit for IG, I need to look proper for me parents, like whatever it is that you face, oftentimes those are the things that kind of like chain you when you think about it, that kind of hold you from being able to think freely. There's a lot of things like just on a regular, the way quote unquote society again is set up is that, you know, you gotta work to survive, right? And depending on the nature of the work or whatnot, the circumstances you were born into, there's different variations. Because even, make no mistake about it, maybe it's 1,000 times more preferable to have, you know, somewhat of a surplus of money opposed to just where majority of the world is messed up and getting worse. You know, the country's been through some really rough times, the world been through some rough times with COVID and all that. And then I guess, you know, going back to it, white people are targeted as far as a mental chain, so to speak, is, and it's depending, obviously it's not universal, what is in the world right now, especially in the United States, but globally it's the same thing, just change the verbiage, change the language. We know the term, the white supremacy thinking or mindset or whatnot, but in general it's just like even down to the average white American. Basically, yo, you good, you comfortable, what you worried about? And then when I say the average, maybe I should say a little more from middle class to upper class, where comfortability is like the entire world is like, you know, but you a part of, you know what I'm saying? You one with us, so you good. A homie of mine was telling me that basically she has a problem where, because she's a white girl, but whenever she tries to have the conversations that she's thinking regarding whether it be racial inequality or just questions in general that are uncommon, such as, you know, questions about history and what's the truth, and go talk to a white religious person or whatnot in the suburbs, there's a high probability that you'll probably get some sort of resistance to giving them question about like the Jesus's race. You're probably gonna get something along the lines of, oh, it doesn't matter about his race, etc., etc. They're looking at it from a different optic. The game of life for them has been set differently. So imagine you actually asked those questions on a consistent basis, now another side of those family members starts activating. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh snap, you know, they don't want to hear this no more, but I'm just, you know, this is constantly on my mind. And a lot of this is, I would say, beginner level stuff of when you start to really just be conscious of the world and the inequalities and stuff like that. You know, there's sections of consciousness of people that they'll be pro one thing that is very valid, and they won't be pro another thing that is very valid, because they don't think that there's as much of a concern there, when there might be more, or there should be more room for concern in the other aspect. Because it's like people that might be pro-black, it might be people that are pro-black men that really won't see an issue necessarily about the inequality with gender with women. So there's all these chains that are keeping people from thinking freely. And when I say thinking freely, I don't mean the aspect of I won't be racist, I just won't be racist. No, I'm not talking about that. Having questions about truth, having questions about the world, having questions about life. Obviously you gotta do what you gotta do to make sure that you're good, your mental health, all of that good stuff. Somehow, some way, whether it be that sometimes you have to approach family differently, navigate waters the way you need to navigate them. Never give up on, you know, that those questions that you may have about life or whatnot. I think that's very important to a person's journey, because if you stop asking questions and you just keep on accepting everything that's handed to you, when are you gonna ever receive change? At the very least, if you're not really concerned that much, like I need change because change is scary, monotony will show itself. Boredom will come through. You will be bored after a certain point of living life a certain way. If that's an incentive for you, that's always just keep on, you know. Sometimes, yeah, you're going to have those times where unfortunately it's all overwhelming and you feel like you gotta get away from things for a bit. And I don't even say this unfortunately, you know, you need to take a social media break, take it. You need to take a sabbatical from whatever your work situation is. You need it for your mental health or whatever it may be, man. Maybe you just want to have rest. You want to get away from things, or maybe you want to focus on other stuff in life that you love. There's so many different reasons why you would need a break, or you would just need to shake it up a little bit. Do that. Don't ever fall into the being caged into, well, this is life. You know, if you're unhappy with things, if you're not feeling fulfilled, it's for a reason. Don't just settle for this is life, because that's not life, and that can lead you down dark routes as well. A lot of people that succumb to addiction and whatnot, it's because they get stuck in there's no way out, this is a hopeless situation, it's never gonna that's not, get that out of your mind. You know what I'm saying? Things is gonna happen, you're gonna hit bad spots, but you just gotta always keep on trying to stand as strong as you possibly can in your center. One of my homeboys, Jack, shout out Jack if you're watching this, he put me on to this Japanese word called ikigai. And ikigai is essentially taking a few different factors, like what do you love to do, what actually makes you money. Like, it was this whole thinking board together of the thing that you want to do or you're interested in are things that help the world. You combine all that together, you find what is the center, or essentially what would be the commonality that connects all that together, and that's your ikigai. But you tie that with one of your interests that helps you to improve the world in one way or another, and you tie that with multiple things, and that kind of gives you purpose. Because ikigai essentially means like your purpose in life, and you just got to find that balance. Eventually, if certain things don't line up with one thing, you got to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Look for your ikigai. For all the people out there, whether you're black, whether you're white. I didn't really get into like Hispanic people and a lot of other races, because one, I oftentimes see a lot of the things in the world. Yeah, there's a bunch of races or whatnot, but if you boil down the history, it really all boils down to, starts off with black people, and then it kind of carries down to white people, and then everything is in between. And outside of that, if you know, on a deeper thinking that you're not often allowed to display, or you kind of come across a certain way, we're all just together. We all should just be together. We all should, or it would improve everyone's lives, I guess, in a way, if we work together. But there's a whole other level of why that's not happening, because the design isn't for that to happen. If not, it would have been happened. Look how far and distant everything is. You go from Rosa Parks to now, it's fun to sit in the back of the bus. Everybody's having a blast. That's where all the quote-unquote best fights, because, you know, remember World Star did its damage of promoting, you know, just World Star violence, people going to jail, bad stuff happening, oftentimes to people of color, more so often to black people. World Star destruction, yeah. I know there's some people right now that's watching this, that you're hoping that maybe your parents don't hear what I'm saying. You agree with it. You're like, yo, that's so key facts, you know what I'm saying? You agree with it, but you putting down the volume on your headphones right now. Please, I don't want them to hear this. Then they'll stop talking to you and carries on. It's crazy, this world, right? But find your ikigai.